Okay, let's talk about a real change, not just small tweaks and minor adjustments. Today, we're diving into a full system reset, a concrete, actionable blueprint to completely transform your life in just 6 months. No, seriously, just pause and think about that for a second. What if you could stop waking up feeling drained? Stop clocking in for someone else's dream? And stop pretending you're okay with a life that's just, well, fine. What if you could actually build the life you're excited to wake up to? According to the plan we're about to break down, it's not just a fantasy, it's a process. So the whole idea here is moving from you 1.0 to you 2.0. Think of you 1.0 as the default settings on a new phone, It's the version of you that was shaped by your parents, your teachers, society, basically built on other people's programming. But you 2.0, that's the version you design, intentionally, from the ground up, based on what you truly want. So how do we actually build you 2.0? Well, it all comes down to this 4-step plan. First, we're going to get crystal clear. Second, we'll master one high-value skill. Third, we create the roadmap. And finally, the most intense part, we disappear and execute. Let's dive right into step 1, which is, you could argue, the most important piece of the entire puzzle, getting crystal clear. Man, does this hit home for anyone else? If you've ever felt stuck, like you're just spinning your wheels, this is probably why. It's not some deep character flaw. It's not a lack of motivation. Think about it. Who can get excited about running full speed if they have no idea where the finish line is? It's a clarity problem, not a you problem. And that's exactly why clarity is described as a superpower. See, your brain hates a vacuum. If you don't give it a clear, exciting target to aim for, it just defaults to its old programming. The comfortable, safe patterns. That's where self-sabotage comes from. But when you know exactly what you want, in vivid detail, you give your brain a brand new mission. So this is the big question. And I mean really sit with it. Don't filter yourself. If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you actually build? What would your health look like? Your career? Your relationships? Get a picture of that in your mind, because that is the vision that's going to become your obsession for the next 6 months. All right, so once you've got that vision locked in, it's time to build the engine that's going to get you there. And that brings us to step 2, mastering one and only one high-value skill. And I really can't stress this enough. One. Just one skill, not 2, not 10. We live in this world that glorifies multitasking, but let's be real, multitasking is a myth. It's just a way to do several things poorly at the same time. True progress comes from singular focus. Now, this skill should be something that provides tangible value to other people. Things like running ads for businesses, or becoming a killer copywriter, or maybe building an e-commerce brand. They're called high-income skills for a simple reason. They solve very expensive problems. The key is to just pick one and go all in. Now, I know what you're thinking. World class in 6 months? That sounds insane. But is it really? Think about how distracted most people are. With 6 months of intense, obsessive focus, you can learn and execute more effectively than 99% of people who are just half trying for years. You're not just learning a skill, you're building the muscle of consistency. Okay. So you've got your vision, you've chosen your skill. Now you need a bridge to get from where you are to where you want to be. Step 3 is all about building that bridge, your roadmap. I absolutely love this analogy. Your vision, that crystal clear picture of your future, that's your North Star. It's the fixed point on the horizon you're always moving toward. But the plan, that's your GPS. It gives you the turn-by-turn directions. Trying to change your life without a plan is like getting in your car for a cross-country road trip with no map. It's just not going to work. And building this plan doesn't have to be some overwhelming project. You take that big, scary, exciting goal, and you break it down into what the source calls stupid small steps. I mean, so small and easy that you feel kind of silly not doing them. Don't worry about the entire mountain. Just focus on taking the very next step in front of you. That's how you win. All right, this brings us to the final and, let's be honest, the most dramatic step in the whole process. You have the vision, you have the skill, you have the plan. Now it's time to execute. It's time to disappear. Yep, you heard that right. Disappear. For the next 6 months, you go ghost. You have to be ruthless. You stop doing anything and everything that does not move you closer to your goal. That means no random parties, no mindless scrolling, no distractions. You basically tell your friends, hey, I'm going into a tunnel for a bit. I'll see you on the other side. For 6 months, this is your life. You are completely and utterly obsessed with building you 2.0. And here's the crazy secret. When you finally reemerge, the outside world will be pretty much the same. But you will be fundamentally different.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The concentrated, all-in effort you put in over this short period of time will create more progress than years and years of just dabbling and getting distracted. You stop waiting around for motivation to strike, and you start creating your own momentum. So, what happens when you finally come out of that 6-month tunnel? What's the payoff for all that focus and sacrifice? It's actually pretty simple. You become completely, utterly unrecognizable, in the best way possible. And we're not just talking about what you've achieved on paper. This is a full-blown identity shift. You 1.0 was running on old beliefs, on self-doubt, on settling. You 2.0, that's a confident action taker. You've literally rewired your brain to be the kind of person who follows through, the kind of person who is the main character in their own life. This change is total. It affects the way you carry yourself, the way you walk into a room. It changes that little voice inside your head. It changes the standards you set for your life, your work, your relationships. You stop settling for just okay because you've proven to yourself you can create something extraordinary. So the final question isn't whether this is possible. The blueprint is right here. The real question is whether you'll decide to do it. So let this be the moment. Let the next 6 months be the chapter where you decided once and for all who you were going to be and you never looked back.